How did the $2.85 million deal come about?
They called me on YouTube. They said, hey, I'm seeing you on YouTube. We want to come down there and shop for homes. This whole process has been life-changing, I have to tell you. Passive Prospecting, best training program ever. I mean, hero is kind of a strong word. You're really a good example. I like how you interface with people. I think you come from your heart. Keep going. Don't quit. You get to do this, right? It's not like you have to do this. You get to be able to connect with people out in front of Zillow, right? I mean, that's what's happening.
Today, we're talking with my good friend, Micah Bleecher, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, who is in his upper 60s. But according to him, he says old is gold, and he is loving YouTube. He says it has changed his business. Last year in 2024, he made over a couple of $100,000 in commissions from his YouTube channel. And he even admits that he wasn't able to be as consistent. Now, he had some issues, some personal issues to deal with, and that's all understandable. But that's the power of YouTube. Think about something that comes up in your life, whether it's personal or professional or family related, and it kind of takes you to the sidelines for a little bit. Imagine the power of a YouTube channel still working for you, bringing in leads and allowing you to generate business, or at least pass that business off to somebody else who could still close those deals and you earn commissions from that. I mean, this to me is a game changer for YouTube in general, but you're going to love Micah. I mean, he just shares insights on what has made him successful. On top of that, he talks about how much he loves working with his clients. He's been in real estate for quite some time, but these are the clients that he has had the most fun with, because he says everybody that reaches out to him is pretty much within 5 to 8 years of his age range. So they grew up in the same time periods. They all like the same music, they all went through the same life events. And so he says the conversations are just better. Plus, they're more experienced homeowners. They're usually looking to upgrade or downgrade or downsize, or they've already bought multiple houses in their life before. And he says they've got money, so he loves working with this type of clientele, because we've always said that like attracts like whenever you create your YouTube passive prospecting channel. So I can't wait for you to meet Micah. Let's talk to him. All right, and welcome, Micah. How are you doing today?
Levi, I am doing great. Thank you very much. It is fantastic to see you, sir.
Yes, you as well. So I want to definitely jump into all of the YouTube success that you're having, but first let's start with a little background. I'm always interested to know how long you've been in real estate, and then also what happened before real estate, and why you made that transition. So how long have you been in real estate now?
Well, it's kind of a two-part question. So I've kind of been working intensely in real estate for like 20 years. First, I was doing all of the search engine optimization, internet lead generation, that kind of thing, for a friend of mine here that did luxury homes. And he was one of the top in town at the time. He's retiring now, but I got his website up to a 72 domain authority, and I got really good at attracting business into, his brokerage. And I think he, over time, well over, $1 billion or $2 billion worth of real estate. I mean, I really put in some big numbers, expensive homes, that kind of thing. So wow. I have a good background at that. And then while I was doing that, I'm also an entrepreneur. So I built and sold 5 businesses since I've been in Las Vegas for like the last 23 years or so. Internet retail, that was kind of the tail end of the .com thing when I moved here, and I sold that. And then I started a business that helped people sell their cars online, and built that up and sold it. Then my wife and I started an insurance company. She started a farmer's agency, and I started a commercial brokerage, and we did that for a while. And all of our business, of course, most of it came from, the internet, search engine optimization, and started a surety business after that. That was in all 50 states. So I was licensed in all 50 states for insurance and for surety, for contract bonds and, contractor license bonds for contractors and things like that. So, and I did that for a number of years, sold that business. And in 2017, then we sold the other 2 insurance companies after COVID came along. My wife needed to retire. She's had, years long medical situations and more surgeries than I can count. And she just kind of needed to be retired. And so we sold both of our insurance companies. I'm going like, I've been doing real estate for all of this time, and might as well go get licensed. So I did that and figured out how to sell real estate. I got on their Zillow team, where they're just doing these inbound leads, over and over and over again, which gives you a lot of practice working, inbound out of town kind of leads, which is very different than other type of leads. And then got on their luxury showing team. So I got really good at showing homes and got good at making heart connections with people. I'm old, 65, so I make connections with people well. I communicate well, and just kind of had the feeling I need to do more of this. I need to have more of these connections like I'm getting with clients, because they're really nice. It's like, that feeling you get when you pure a golf ball or something like that. It just reverberates, really nicely. And I really enjoy that. And I just kind of wanted more of that, and got to where I quit taking the Zillow leads, right? Because I got to realizing that, these are never going to be my clients. They're always going to be the broker's clients. And I need to figure out my own way, my own pillar of getting leads in. What's the best way to do it? I've been doing SEO for all these years. I'm still doing it for their business. Now I had to figure out which direction I'm going to do, and so I ultimately decided I was going to leave the brokerage, right? And go out on my own and figure out my own path and what's going to work for me. And I sat down with a friend of mine who does branding, and I paid her a good chunk of money. We sat down, but did a branding exercise, and figured out the people who like talking to me, right? And who I attract. And it's kind of older people naturally, because I'm older, right? And they tend to have, not necessarily super rich or super wealthy, but high net worth people. And that's kind of the people that I have naturally attracted in all of my business endeavors over the years. So that became kind of the cornerstone of my avatar, I guess you could say. But that's just not, I don't really look at it as an avatar. That's just who comes to me, right? And so I want more of that. And then a friend of mine, dear friend of mine here in town, one of my real estate mentors, handed me your book one day. She looked at me very seriously. She said, "You need to do this, Mike." Her name's Tamara, and she is kind of a mentor to a lot of people here in town. She's kind of a special person. And so I read your book, and I'm going like, wow, that kind of seems like that might be the perfect pillar for me to move forward like this. I was just really impressed with your results and so forth. And so then I took your class, your 2-day class. And this was, I think, September 23, maybe, something like that. I don't know. And then I was so impressed, I signed right up for Passive Prospecting and went through that whole training process. And for me, this was very foreign. I hate myself on video, right? One time, my old broker asked me, hey, get yourself a video and put it on BombBomb and send it out to people. And that's a good way to market. And I tried, held up my phone, did a video, with a circle light, and stood there and looked really stupid. And, you have to really touch my face up a little bit and use a little bit of filter. You just don't want that natural 100% digital face I got right on that camera. And it was terrible, right? I still have that video, and it's terrible. I'm going, there's no way this is going to work for me. So I just gave up. I didn't even think about video going forward until tomorrow. I said, you need to do this. And I kind of took another look at it and said, okay, I put money down, so I got to do it right. So I don't really feel like I was a phobia type of fear, but I did not feel comfortable on camera. I went out for 2 months, and Archie was really helpful during that time period. He was like, you need to start really actually making videos. But I was out in the backyard practicing, right? And, holding up my camera and figuring, on the selfie stick with the backwards lens like Levi instructed, and smiling into that lens and doing exactly what you said, right? And it took a long time for me to be able to figure out how to smile and give an editor a good cut point. And when I make a mistake, just to let it roll off of me and just keep going, right? Rather than, and just trash and start over, all that crap that people do when they first start this, right? And so I went through that whole process, and I finally started making videos, right? And Archie kind of kicked me out. So you need, get out there and start. You're doing it right. You're making videos, right? So you do this. And so it really took a push for me. I am still not really 100% comfortable. I'm getting better at it, right? But I'm not 100% comfortable out there doing it. And so that's how I kind of got into real estate. I ended up selling all my other businesses, and I love working. I still need to work, right? I still want to make, in real estate, you can make a lot of money if you can make everything work, right? And so I've seen it done. I've watched it being done, and I'm good at it. And so might as well just roll with this. So that's kind of how I ended up investing in your program. And there's a lot of money. I don't regret it. I would not have gotten into video without you and without your example. And for me, this whole process has been life-changing, I have to tell you. And I've said that to you before, right? I mean, and it still is life-changing. And it has kind of gotten me outside of myself and just really pushing me, and not just in, it's actually pretty easy to make 3 or 4 or 5 videos looking back on it, but 10, 20, 30, where those ideas coming from? Are you just going to rehash the same crap idea? You're going to come up with something new? How are you going to figure out what to say, where to shoot, what back? I mean, it's not easy to keep going and doing this. And the people that I see doing a good job, that have been doing it for a long time, and I see them out there doing it, man, I really take my hat off to them. And I see guys out there doing 2 a week on your program. I take my hat off to those guys. I don't know how they do it, because for me, it's been kind of an up and down road. I mean, people say I'm successful, I'm making a decent commission from my YouTube deals, right? And quite, I've done well, but it's been kind of an up and down path.
How much in 2024? What was your count for volume?
Well, I'm just gonna. I just been keeping my total YouTube, because I started January of 24. Switch brokers. So making that decision that, you have to wind down all your deals and then wind back up at a new broker. Then my wife had 2 back surgeries, and I thought I was going to be out 2 weeks, and it ended up kind of having complications and took a couple months. So down, that was like a pause in video production, right? And then had to wind back. So it's been like ups and downs. And so, but for my YouTube commissions, closed and in contract, close to 200,000.
Wow.
So since I started, right, and that's with my ups and downs, and so and switching brokers and all that stuff, and I still haven't fully recovered my momentum. I'm still working at it. I'm so busy though that I'm actually have a recruiter helping me to try to find an assistant.
Oh wow! All right.
Because I really need to. Yeah, I mean,
good.
I'm getting like I've lost business, Levi, because it slips through, and I mean how do you lose business? How do you use a YouTube client? Because you don't love bomb them the first couple of weeks, right? And why don't I love bomb? Because I'm love bombing 3 other guys, right? And so, and getting them in contract, right, or whatever, right? So it gets out of hand. So I need some help, and so I've been advertising for that, and I've had it's hard to get good help. You hear that all the time, right? And it's hard to hire people, and so I've been having some ups and downs on that, and then, but I'm still at it, and then. And still even considering, I've always thought that I might need a Travis. I mean, I wonder how, I mean, I know you had a guy named Jimmy first off, because I've looked at some of your old videos, right, that worked with you. And then you found Travis to help you, right? And then now, and.
Yeah, that was, so the, by the way, I've got somebody for you. I reached out, and
he did call me, by the way. We're having coffee next week.
Oh, really? Oh, he got your contact info? Okay, cool.
I know who I've seen him out in the field before. He's shown one of my houses in the past.
Okay, cool. All right, good. Yeah, Mark's a great guy. And if I thought there was anybody that would probably connect with you, just personality wise, I mean, I really feel like it would be him. So,
okay.
So I'm glad y'all are hooking up. And I just reached out to him and said, hey, do you have any capacity with what you're doing? And he said he does. So I think if you guys are able to work something out, or maybe he is your Travis. I don't know.
We'll find out. I mean, I don't know either, right? Because it was kind of the perfect match for you, right? I mean, and I don't know, would it have been successful if Travis would have been the video guy and you'd have been the closer? I mean,
well, we probably would have closed more, based on my sales ability. But I don't know. We may have not have gotten as many leads with Travis's camera abilities.
So you do attract people, right? You have a magnetic thing going on, and that's, I think, really part of it. I mean, if you don't have that in video, I don't think it's going to work well for you.
Well, I mean, you to a certain extent, right? I mean, I think, of course, as you look back at my start, which was 4 years ago, and you mentioned about cranking videos out. I mean, I did 3 videos a week for 2 years straight, and which was crazy. And that's because, yes, meeting Travis at the right time allowed me to do that. If I was doing it on my own, I would have ran into those same problems. And then especially 2021, 2022, we know how those markets were. I also captured momentum with the market. That was really perfect timing. And so, a lot of those factors played into it. But yeah, I mean, as far as Jimmy, and no ill will against him, you mentioned that. I mean, he actually was somebody that I worked with for the first couple of months, maybe 1 to 2 months on the channel. And he was a videographer. And that was kind of the deal, is like I was looking for somebody who could edit, shoot the video, edit as well. And then, but also kind of work on some of the deals. So that was kind of the plan whenever I started. And, we just didn't align on our, core values, I could say. And so, and that's the thing about real estate. I just really want to encourage people, don't jump into a partnership, at least a legal partnership, until you know somebody very well. And actually the ideal format, you should say, or formula to partner with somebody is, them at least 4 years. And so, if you don't know somebody for at least 4 years, and for example, you partner up with this person that I connected you with, if you guys work out some sort of partnership. Now there's many ways to partner together without legally doing it, but also you need to go through some transactions first, because once you go through those transactions, you can easily do splits. You can do referral fees. You could, you can split 50-50. You can do 60-40. I mean, just kind of how you guys work through it. I mean, for me, if I'm looking for that, probably a 50-50 or a 60-40 makes sense, just because it's, if you think about it, 60-40, which, 40% to that agent, and you say, well, look, I've got 20% of cost, when it comes to my time, filming, editing, everything else. There's a little bit of a, argument you could say on there, or you say, yeah, I just want to film and pass a couple of leads off to you, but it's going to be multiple leads. So therefore we'll just do a 50-50 split, because typically 25-30% is a normal referral fee in real estate, but that's usually you give one referral to one person through the course of a year or something like this. You're talking about, okay, hey, I'm going to send you over, 10, 20, 30 leads. So we're going to do a 50-50, but we're also going to do it transaction by transaction, at least get to know each other. And then from there, you can kind of see how that relationship blossoms. And before, Travis and I had just met each other, but we started to work really well together. And we actually waited almost a year before we finalized a written legal partnership. So at that time, we were just doing transactions together, so to speak, although we considered ourselves partners. So
you say that, but yeah, I know what you're saying. There's a legal partnership, and then there's a work partnership, and there's different levels of partnership.
Hey, you should check out my new community for free. It's where I host all of my more in-depth trainings, and you're going to get access to step-by-step courses showing you how to get buyer and seller leads for your business using passive prospecting, a supportive community of over 1,300 members, and weekly group coaching sessions you can attend and ask questions. Now, this community is all about passive prospecting and getting quality buyer and seller leads through YouTube without spending a penny on ads or cold calling. Now, the link is in the description below, so make sure you join for free today and say hi to me when you get in the community. I look forward to seeing you there.
Yeah, and then also just make sure that if you do decide to go into a legal partnership, that you have exit strategy mapped out, just in case, while you're friends, you want to say, okay, let's look at worst case scenario. We decide to split up. What happens? And of course, I would always encourage you to maintain 100% control of your channel regardless. And so, and you don't have to legally partner with somebody either. I mean, because of the way real estate is designed, as long as you have those referral agreements or those, in place, then, transaction by transaction, you're basically in business together, right? So if for some reason the other person, I don't know, disappears, you never know. I mean, and we always think the world and we always think the best. And I think you and I are both people that give people the benefit of the doubt, right? And we always think the good things about people, and all of a sudden, sometimes just things happen. You never know. And
conditions change.
Yeah, of course.
And people change.
Yeah.
Motivation changes. I mean, I don't get surprised anymore when that happens, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not always pleasant because you are going along a certain way and then things change and now you got to figure out a new way to go along, right?
Yeah.
And then, but I don't really hold that against people necessarily. I mean, sometimes when that happens, it's very uncomfortable and the divorce process is ugly. And I've had many partnerships in business and so forth. And I 100% agree with you that you got to know how to get what's the divorce plan? What is you need a prenup, really. Is what
you need the prenup.
And it is, it's a marriage, and, a sexless marriage. And it really is. I mean, you probably spend more time with that person than your spouse, and very possibly under intense emotional conditions, right? With business and work and stuff. And so, and in real estate, of course, it gets crazy, right? It's a business that's high. It's a high emotion business. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's really important to know how you're going to get divorced. And so I appreciate your advice on this, how to kind of manage the in-between process, right? Like there's going to have to be like a long courtship, or to find out even if that works, or even if you want to have a whole legal thing, if that's even necessary, maybe you just live together, right? And do your thing, and have a referral agreement, like you said, and not actually get married, right? And so, and then still, I'm still looking for that assistant, because I have a ton of work that probably wouldn't be appropriate for a closer, to do. So, so I still kind of need. It doesn't take away my need for an assistant. So,
are you looking for somebody local? Are you looking for somebody local, or are you going to VA for an assistant?
Now, initially, I have some, but I mean, so I have a recruiter trying to help me find a licensed local person that can really help me with showings and boots on the ground and work with clients. And if I have that, it may negate the need for a partner type referrals person, and maybe just get a couple extra showing agents for when everyone's busy, kind of a thing. But
yeah, you could, you could always reach out to Travis. Travis has got a pretty good system down now, where we've got an executive assistant who's licensed and, does very well on a salary, and then also is able to, show homes, write contracts, do everything that she needs. And so now Travis is just more of the puppet master, you could say, right? And and what he's doing too is he is, instead of going out spending all day showing homes, he's taking clients to dinner, or lunch. So that way it's something also a little bit more enjoyable for him, where he says, all right, well, Margaret will go out and show you, 8 homes today. And then guess what? We'll meet up for dinner, let's go have dinner. And then
that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking for that. Right. And
he can talk through that. And of course he's going to negotiate the deal, and, he really spends time on the things that he wants to do. And it's a pretty good system and process. So, I mean, you're always welcome. We're here to help you 100%. And so if you reached out to him, and he could probably give you a little rundown of how that works. And then you just got to, if you can find that person there, then you might be able to solve that issue as well.
I appreciate, I may reach out to him, and, and I still promote passive prospecting everywhere it goes. Best training program ever. I could not have started video without that. I just can't even imagine it. It was like to get my head from here to there. Without your training program and example, and
well, thank you.
Basic scripting. I've kind of gone off and doing different formats now and things, but you've got to have a structure to get started, and a basic format, or you'll just be all over the place, and it'll be stupid, right? And so it was just the perfect way to get going, and so I recommend your program all the time to people.
Well, thank you. Well, let's rewind a little bit, because you did mention you had a big fear. I mean, you said you still kind of have a little bit of a reluctance. I want to say fear, but more of a reluctance to record here or there. And I think, the funny thing is sometimes I do as well. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I got to go record. It's sometimes it seems like a little bit more inconvenient versus, I can't wait to record, and I have my days, right? Some days I'm like, ooh, I'm really looking forward to making this video. And then sometimes I'm like, oh man, I got to make a video, and I will tell you, I've been deathly ill the last 3 days, and maybe you don't hear it, but I'm still congested. And by the way, if I have to blow my nose, just keep talking. All right. So, don't mind me.
I figured I'd stop and let you can cut the.
Yeah, no. I'll cut that. You'll come up full screen. We always do. Okay. I'll bring you up full screen so they can see me anyways.
You got tricks.
but I've been deathly ill the last 3 days. And we had a channel that I publish on Thursdays, and I didn't want to mess that up. And I was supposed to record on Monday for that video, and I couldn't do it just because I was out. And Tuesday and Wednesday was terrible as well. But Wednesday morning, I woke up and I was just like, all right, I've got to knock out this video. And I sound completely congested in there. But, it was one of those things where I was like, well, and that was a day I was not looking forward to recording a video for sure. But at the same time, my commitment to consistency, I was like, well, I'm not going to skip because this is a different project that I'm working on. And, I've always emphasized consistency is key, especially when you're starting something off. And so I'm like, all right, I can't compromise that. And regardless, I'm going to push through it. And also we were 2 weeks ahead on that. And, of course, the way things run sometimes, which is why I encourage you to be 2 weeks ahead on content, is I got to where I was, I needed to publish that week. And so that's not a good position because that's what I warn people against. What happens if you get sick or family gets sick or, something happens with the kids or all these things that come into play. It's always ideal to be a couple of weeks ahead on your content so that something comes up, because I did not want to record completely congested and stuffy nose. But I had to because I was out of content. But you also mentioned in the beginning, having a much stronger reluctance to recording, especially in the beginning. So what did anything you do or thought about that kind of helped you just get over that? Or were you just like, you know what, I'm just going to do this?
Well, a couple of things, honestly, I thought about it. Every time I was out there, I'm trying to identify with the mind of Levi, right? And try and get that Levi mind going, because you've really mastered this ability, even though you still have a tiny little bit of reluctance and, ups and downs, you do it really well. And one day you said, you got to be a detective, like a detective, and I'm imagining, I don't know what comes up in your mind. You're younger than me but when I hear detective, I'm hearing, like James Rockford or Columbo or somebody like that, right? In one of the old TV shows. And
my dad,
that's what I got. That's what I got to be like. Oh, just one more thing, one more thing, right? And just not worry about it and not give a darn, right? About what anybody else is looking, honking, thinking. People drive by and they're honking. They don't, and walking by. And it used to just really get in my head and disturb me. And now it's like, oh, hi, folks. I'm recording a video here, by the way. Say hi, or, I'm just like, I'm getting to where I don't care anymore. And so that's a cool process, that detective process, where you have the mind of the detective and you're going into a neighborhood and I'm going like, I got to find things out. I got to sneak in. I got to get around. What footage can I do first and then do the clubhouse? Cause I'm going to get kicked out of the clubhouse. Right. And then, let me get my other footage in first. Right. And then I'm going to go in and act stupid. And I'm old. So if I'm doing 55, I kind of blend in until I pull my camera out and start panning. Oh, sir, you can't shoot in here. I'm going like, I'm not shooting people. Don't worry. But so that detective mind really helped me a lot. And you just kind of, watching other channels and seeing other people do it. I'm going like, they can do it. I can do it. Right. It's just a video. Just go out there, man up and do it. Right. Just go do it. Right. But I want to do it well. And then I don't want to freeze up. And then, so what to say is hard. People see me on video and they think I'm some kind of guy that can just flow. And I do flow when I'm talking right now, and I flow. I gave a seminar last week on video, recommended you guys for training. And people asked me about I passed out one of my scripts. They can be kind of lengthy. I have big type, so my eyes can see them, but they're lengthy. And people going, you're flowing good right now. Why can't you just flow when you're out on a neighborhood shoot? I'm going like, well, sometimes I can flow, but a lot of times I'm out there and I've got my camera up and it just goes blank, right? It just stops. And I want it to flow, right? But it's that day it's not. And then, so if I have a full script with me, at least I can get into the reading of it. And then sometimes the flow starts a little bit. It kind of primes the flow a little bit. And then there are days where I just read the whole thing. I'm getting good at, reading and, to the camera, but some days it's like that. Right. And then some days I just flow and it's natural and I'm laughing and having fun and, it varies. And so I think part of my problem is I just need to shoot more. And so I'm kind of a victim of my own success when I first started and I was trying to get ahead on videos and start recording. I was trying to do different things like record 4 in one day. Right. And, shoot this part, and then do it 4 times, and that part 4 times. And then I found that you don't really make a good video when you do it that way. You really got to think about each video and who you're talking to and what you're saying and how you speak to people. Right. And so that requires some thought and some planning and stuff. And then I'm starting to make, a little bit better videos and going along, but it's a lot of work. I'm going like, man, that's before I started getting busy. Right. I'd wound down my book of business and I'm like, well, if I start getting leads from this, I'm so busy shooting. I don't know what I'm going to do if I actually get a client. And then before a client phone starts ringing. Hey, I'm watching your videos, early on, and got some clients early on and started getting really busy and stuff. And then I got busy with clients and didn't shoot. Right. So it's like, and then you're ahead a few. And so you're okay for a while. And then it's hard to get ahead again. Right. And so ups and downs. And my goal this year is to find more flow, right? Where I have more the consistency shooting, and maintain a high level of customer service, right? I don't want to have that person that falls off the wagon, so to speak, because I'm not giving them enough love bomb during the first 2 weeks when they call me. Yeah. And so, my goal this year is to find flow. So whether it's an assistant, and I'm actively interviewing right now, actually, and have somebody helping me, and or I find that partner or a hybrid partner, like you're saying, that might be. I'm kind of open to any and all ideas at this point, because my goal this year is to find flow, keep the videos going, because when they're going, I get leads. People call me, they say, I've been looking at your videos, and I get quality leads. I mean, I've had a 2.85 deal, and I've got one closing next week that's 1.5, and I've got some middle deals and a few small deals, right? So they're all over the place, and I'm getting really high quality people.
That's nice.
And I think partly because I'm planning out, and I've got a creative team that's helping me with ideation and scripting, and that's been really helpful. It's expensive, so I'm hoping I can keep that going, the burn rate going on that, because it's not cheap. But for me, that's been really helpful. And I feel like giving higher quality experience is going to bring me higher quality clients. And so far, I think that's been working. So, and not,
Well, are you setting aside like a certain time each week to film? Are you blocking like Thursday mornings or something like that?
It's mostly been on the weekends, unless I have a client in town, and then I have to jump into the middle of the week. And I have a piece of paper that says, here's what perfect day looks like, and I never can follow those.
Yeah. So I mean, well, most clients you typically work with on the weekend. So do you think it would be better to move filming day to during the week? And
it kind of varies, right? So it's when it's difficult for me to have a blocked out day just for that right now, when I'm doing so many different things, right? And so if I have help in doing certain things, then I think I could actually block out that time.
Are you okay? Dedicate. Well, I mean, yeah. So if you're just a recommendation, of course, and I mean, I block every Wednesday for me is blocked, and so there can't be any appointments, and so no meetings, nothing else that takes place, and that's it. It's like my non-negotiable. It's the only way I can stay consistent on content. And if you pick something like a Wednesday or a Thursday or maybe even a Tuesday seems to be like a slow real estate day. It should be, at least client wise, something that doesn't interrupt you. Now, this is where you've got to, you have a talk with the spouse, right? And you say, okay, hey, whatever we do, can you help me commit to Tuesdays? And so also, if you have something, now I know you're in a different situation and maybe there's an appointment or something you need to get to, and of course you don't want to compromise that. But if the appointment is not emergency, or could it be on a Monday or Wednesday, right? And so you do everything you can to protect that Tuesday, and so you can stay consistent. And if a client says, well, hey, can we touch base? You gotta say something like, okay, well, Tuesday, I'm already booked up on Tuesday, but can you talk first thing Wednesday morning or Monday afternoon? And most of the time they're going to say, yeah, okay, cool. That's no problem. And they're not likely going to go out and look at homes on a Tuesday. So it also, keeps you safe during that time frame as well. But just something to keep in mind. And maybe you do something like that to where, you just, because I could see if you try to film on the weekends, then that's typically going to get interrupted by showings or clients in town or something like that. So it could be a little bit of a challenge.
And, my wife's been helping me. She's been kind of my shooting assistant most of the time. And then I've had a couple of other people that have helped me here and there to see how I shoot and stuff. And I kind of need an assistant. maybe there's a way to do it without one. I know you like to go off by yourself and do things, and you're really good at just having an outline and flowing. You've always done it that way. And I have more of a script. And so got somebody that's kind of holding a script up in front of me a little bit while I'm talking, and I'm like looking at it and then going and then looking at it a little bit more and going. And so, I think, I don't know, maybe I should get better at flowing a little bit more. And I don't know. It's challenging. People, I mean, I had a friend of mine he say, "Hey man, don't tell people you're getting all that business on YouTube, man. There's only so many people. There's a finite number." I'm going, I know, but it's a lot harder than it looks. And so they can try, but not everybody's going to be able to do it.
But also there's only one. Yeah. There's only one Micah, so, and I love your saying. What's your saying?
Old is gold.
Old is gold. And I love that.
It still is. Yeah.
Yeah. And because most of the clients that are reaching out to you are within your age range, right? Within 5 to 10 years or so. And like you said, they're experienced. They've bought or sold probably several homes. They're also usually doing a little bit better financially, right? They're very wise about what they're doing, but they're also
Where they retired well, in many cases, right?
Which is something you've kind of niched down to as well, right? On your channel.
Well, I kind of, so, everybody that comes to me wants to either check out 55 plus or maybe a single story in a country club or on a golf course or something like that, So not everybody's in the 55 plus communities, but everybody's curious about them and wants to check them out. So I get a lot of those. And then sometimes, it's like I had somebody come in on a 55 plus. We were looking kind of the top of the market in Del Webb, and they ended up buying a nice Blue Heron home on the water, with an elevator instead of a single story. So nice. It worked out fine. Right. And so I try to not get stuck in the 55 plus communities, but so I'm not really going for the real estate genre. I'm going for an age bracket. Yeah. And so that means different things. Right. So could be.
So how did the $2.85 million deal come about?
They called me on YouTube. They said, "Hey, I'm seeing you on YouTube. We want to come down there and shop for homes." That's great. We like.
They reference a certain video or.
Oh yeah, this was a Del Webb video. The Del Webb Lake Las Vegas video.
Del Webb is a suburb of.
Del Webb is a 55 plus community with about 750 homes. It's under construction, so there's new construction there now. Okay. And so people can get new homes there. And lots of choices. So we went in there to start with, and we're thinking about, getting the model home with the $1 million view and stuff there. But then we went down and looked at the Blue Heron model home, that they have, their show home, and they fell in love with that thing and they bought it, right? I mean, they fell in love with it. So we negotiated and got a good price on it and bought it. And so that worked out really well. Yeah. And so
that house was
Pardon?
That house was inside Del Webb?
No, that house was not in Del Webb. That was in Lake Las Vegas in a different part of the area and not 55 plus.
Gotcha.
And so that's what happens. People look at 55 plus and they weigh it out and they feel like it's either that for them or not. I've got other people that only want 55 plus. They want the social aspect. There's people that are, lonely, right? That it's hard it's really difficult to socialize when you get older and you're retired and you get so much social interaction from your work environment that when that stops for some people, they have a hard time going out and meeting people of their own age and things like that. And so these 55 plus communities really fill a niche. And so there's people that just only want that largely because of the social interaction. And then there's some people where that's not as important. And if they get a little bit of social interaction, that's great. I've got people in contract now with a 2-story home in Summerlin. They came in on one video that I did that was one of my poor performers. Even now probably only has 600 or 700 views, right? Not one of my good performers. And they liked something I said in that video that was a little different. And they came in. Now we're in contract with a 2-story home in Summerlin. They're at retirement age, but they have a young family, younger kids, right? So they still have a big family, need a big 2-story house, right? So,
yeah.
And so it kind of goes all over the block. So mostly, I think and these are very substantial people with high level jobs, and they want somebody, that's a little bit older and been around the block a little bit. It's also a fun, thing to say, I've been around the block and it's, on real estate, but, they want people like that. They want people that are older, that dealing with their big sums of money and negotiations. They want somebody that's serious and understands, all the problems associated with an escrow and buying a used house and things. They want people that know what they're doing, right? And have had experience. And so I think being older for me has really helped with that. And I get, buyers that have bigger numbers, right? Because of that, I think.
Hey, real quick, if you're thinking about changing brokerages or you're brand new and you're thinking about choosing a brokerage, well, Travis and I would love to talk to you about partnering with us at eXp. You'll get access to all of our coaching, training, and courses at no cost, but mainly we want to see if we're a good fit for each other. So just check the description below and you can book a call with myself and Travis, and we look forward to speaking with you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's go. A couple of these videos, I was just taking a glance at your channel, and you got some big hits on there. You got one with 130,000 views, which
that's my outlier there. That's the Lake Las Vegas outlier. I've done some follow-ups with Lake Las Vegas that didn't do near as well.
Yeah,
but still people watched them and
don't you love the YouTube gods? Whatever.
Man, if you could ever figure this out, talk about being rich. If you could figure out how this thing works like that and what makes YouTube push one video out over another, and you're looking at both of these videos and you got experts looking at them, right? YouTube experts.
Yeah. And
nobody's really quite sure how that algorithm works, and it changes and stuff. And the bottom line is you want to make videos. So for me, I've got so many themed videos, retirement and 55 and, what's it like to not live in a 55, what are your options? And so I'm still doing those kinds of themes, and those themes really help. And so people will come in on a video and they'll go check out another one and another one. And so that's kind of how the magic of kind of getting to know you. Wow, we've been kind of looking at your videos, and we like what you're saying. We like how you handle things. And I get so many compliments, from people. And it's so weird. I mean, if people knew that I'm just, I'm like above the water, you see the calm duck, but below the water, all the paddling is going on. I mean, people are so funny. It's like, it's him. It's like, when I'm on the phone, I'm going like,
so I've got a little rubber ducky up here, which is kind of like represents that, right? Just the rubber duck, or the duck, the duck when it gets rained on. You ever see that? The rain just beads up and rolls right off their feathers. They look like they're just moving along so nice and smooth, but underneath the water, they're just paddling, right? They're just going like crazy. But it's and I love, and I saw this other video, which I really, really like this concept, because so many agents, I think, have fallen into this trap, which I think it works. And I'll share that here in just a second. But the trap I'm talking about is that I've seen so many times the day in the life of a real estate agent, and I don't think that that's what we'd call selfish-based marketing versus service-based marketing. And the reason it doesn't typically work is because you and I are average agents, right? We're everyday people. And most people are not interested in that unless you're Ryan Serhant and you have a show on Bravo or a show on Netflix. And so therefore, and you've got all of this, you've got all of that around you. And then a day in the life of you is interesting to people because you have the additional eyeballs. But yeah, Levi in Dallas or Micah in Las Vegas, not really a big hit. And I've never seen those videos really do well for individual agents, but you took a little spin on that and did a day in the life of a retiree. That's actually speaking to your target audience and also showing them what that's like in Las Vegas. And I think that's a really good way to spin that versus, hey, look at me, I'm a real estate agent. And then you do the old, I woke up at 4 a.m. and I'm in the gym and I'm pumping hard, and now I'm doing my first conference call at 7 a.m., and it's just kind of like, okay, I went to 3 closings today. It's like, okay, you happen to have 3 closings every day? No, probably not. But I like how you did day in the life of a retiree.
Well, I have to give credit where credit's due. That's my creative team helps me come up with ideas. And so that was their idea. And I helped implement that, and I thought it went okay. I think it was a pretty good video. And the thing, I'll tell you what I love, and I'll tell you one of my secrets, and it's reinforced by my current creative team and you just now. And that is really, people do not really care about me personally so much. I mean, once they're working with me, yes, right. Then they want to know more about me and know all what I'm doing and stuff, but not when they're just watching videos. They don't care about some guy. And so the thing and I don't like promoting myself. I've always promoted others. I promoted my broker, for almost 20 years in his real estate business. And my wife, she was the face of the insurance company, and I promoted her. I'm not good at promoting Micah, right? I don't like that. If I'm uncomfortable, it's not really what I'm good at, right? I'm promoting. So what I'm doing is I'm talking about my passion for Las Vegas, right? And then I can talk about how much I like helping people, right? And I do. And I, use tricks to get people in from out of their head and into their hearts, right? And when I'm having conversations with people, so that I can have a heart connection with them, because that's really what sells. That's what makes a connection with a person. When you have a heart connection with someone, it's hard to break that, right? Once you have that with a person, and they will stay with you for a long time. And I do that by just having not talking about myself, right? I'm not the best realtor. I'll never be the best realtor. I'll never sell the most homes. I'll never sell the most expensive homes. I want you to have the best experience. I just tell people, look, I'd rather have, instead of selling 100 homes with 30% that are not happy, I'd rather sell 30 homes with 100 people happy. Yeah. 100% happiness. That's my goal. Is if you're not happy, then I'm not satisfied if you're not happy. And so that's what I tell people. And I focus on the city, on the experience of living here, the lifestyle of living here, and not me, because who the heck am I? I'm just some guy. I'm the guy that gets to make videos about Las Vegas, about how awesome. So that's really the attitude I have to try to take, right? When I'm having that reluctant moment or overwhelmed, I'm so busy or things, because that's what happens. I get busy with clients, and then my shooting goes down, and then my shooting goes up, and I'm not quite loving my clients enough. And it's a dance. It's like a balance. It's tricky.
Well, I would just, I definitely would encourage you to block a weekday each week. And
I'm going to work at doing that, like you said.
Okay. Yeah. So, but it's really awesome. And like over 200,000 in GCI last year from your YouTube channel. Is that a good income for you?
Yeah. I had a couple more above that, and it is. I need more. If I get an assistant, I'm going to need more than that. Right. And so, because if you have a creative team that helps you write things and helps you at a higher level, it's a lot more expensive. Right. So I pay that. So I'm going to need more than 200, right, to really do well. And the idea of having an assistant, they better help me get more than that. And so I not only need to be 100% consistent with my videos, because that's going to bring in the most business, I still need to not forget about other marketing pillars. I don't think it's healthy to have one marketing pillar, right? I think you need to find complementary marketing pillars. And so for me, I'm really good at SEO. And so I hire a few people overseas to do the background work. And I'm building an SEO. I'm trying to capture the 55 plus, internet space, whether it's video or web or whatever, and hope to do that over a little time. I'll have a much better chance of doing that than if I was going after straight luxury, because everybody's going after luxury, right? Yeah. That's what everybody thinks is sexy, but I have other definitions of sexy. So,
well, thank you.
There's only a handful of real luxury people anyway. Everyone else is kind of a wannabe, and then says they're luxury. And so I'm just not even going to try and get into that space. I sell expensive homes. So what happens is that they come in, they're old, right? So I still sell luxury single story homes or luxury homes, but I kind of get them through the back door because I'm going after an age bracket, not a real estate niche, right? I'm going through an age niche. And so that's a little different, right? So it's how I talk to people. It's, and it spans 55 and luxury homes. And so I think my average deal is about $1 million. I haven't had a lot of deals, but they've been good ones, and average about $1 million. So
yeah,
some low ones, some high, but so I'm looking forward to having a banner year. I'm really excited. I get to be this guy that makes videos. I'm really grateful that I met you. When I occasionally get a text from you, oh, great, text from Levi. I love that, and you're kind of a real, hero is kind of a strong word. You're really a good example. You're a really good example. I like, I like how you interface with people. I think you come from your heart, and I think we both have. That's a commonality that you and I have. And I think the world of you. And so And I just am really glad that I'm kind of walking in your footsteps a little bit with these videos. And, there's other people out there that I know that are doing a lot better than me, more successful, more consistent. They're better at managing the business once it comes in, and, there are a lot of people, I would say most people are probably better at it, but I'm just kind of trying to find my little place, right? I'm just going to try to find my little place. I'm putting all kinds of energy into the universe, as they say, to try to, find some help, find the right person that aligns with my sense of, what's important. And for me, it's, customers first, experience, satisfaction. And if that's not happening properly, if I'm too busy on videos and I'm not getting enough customer satisfaction, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And then, so I've got to get happy. I got to have flow. Both of those things have to happen. So one way or another, I'm going to solve this either with an assistant or a hybrid partner or something like that. But I'm looking forward to my coffee with our friend Mark next week and see what comes of that. And, I do have showing agents that will help me show homes, but that's not where, and I have had that at times where I've had people fill in for me and stuff like that, but that's not where the big bottleneck is. I've got all kinds of administrative stuff, keeping up with CRMs and, just all the things, doing an incoming and making sure that new person's that's inbound is love bomb, get them on automations, get them on a drip, get them, a buyer agreement going. That's something that's happened since I started doing videos. The whole buyer agreement thing, by the way, that happened, right in the middle of my first year of doing this. And honestly, I like the buyer agreements. How do you like them?
Yeah. We like locking them up. So
it kind of does.
Yeah. There's been no problems with YouTube clients, right? They're the easiest ones to lock those in with. So they're coming to you with the value already established on their side. So I could see how that could be a little bit more challenging if you got a Zillow lead or something like that, where it's, that you haven't established a true relationship. And you've got to have that whole conversation. I think that could be a challenge, but people coming in from YouTube, no problem at all.
Yeah, I have worked a lot of Zillow, so I know exactly what that's like. I've been through the ALM Zillow training, appointments, location, and motivation, right? And so some of that actually is very useful when you're talking with a YouTube client, but they already know who you are, right? So it's kind of your relationship to screw up at that point. And so you just kind of don't say too much and, just let them. It's really interesting kind of keeping them on the line, right? You can have the line can be too tight. It can be too loose, especially when they're long-term. And I know that Travis is like a master at this. And so, you get those guys that come in and want to press that buy it now button, I want that house. I want it now. Right. That's great. I love those, but they come in and, for 4 days we're in contract, right? We're throwing down offers. But a lot of times people, they're not sure they want to live here. Right. And so I've got to give them a little bit of a concierge treatment. And a lot of agents don't like doing that. They say, I only want to go out with a guy that wants to buy a house. I'm not going to come out here and tour guide. And fact of the matter is you got to kind of give them some vibes of different areas of town. Right. People don't know where they're going to live, or sometimes I feel like I'm actually selling Las Vegas to some people because they're going like, well, we're thinking about Las Vegas. I'm thinking about Texas. I'm going like, oh, you don't want Texas.
Yeah. I hear you. I tell them, you don't want Las Vegas.
You want Las Vegas.
Come on over.
Hey, how's that Cosm coming over there in Dallas, by the way?
Yeah, it's cool. I still haven't been there yet, but it's no Las Vegas dome. Yeah.
The Sphere is cool. And, I guess they have one in Dubai now. I heard they're going to make baby spheres so that makes it more easy to make money, right? And so maybe they still haven't figured out how to make money with the Las Vegas Sphere. They're working at it. They're trying. Yeah, it was the first time deal, so it's very successful. They just don't know how to make the numbers work. So and now they got the Wizard of Oz going on the Sphere, right? Where they had Google AI redo somehow, and it's going to be on the Sphere and in the Sphere on the Sphere, I don't know how it's going to work, but I saw the Eagles there, and I got to tell you, it was like the best.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
All my people were there, 80-year-old people on my right, 70-year-old people on my left. Everybody's.
I think has Pink Floyd still playing, or I imagine if they did something and then you went there, and I feel like those types of old bands that were really into the visuals and things that they could communicate now that they maybe couldn't do back then. Because they were so far in advance whenever just trying to create an experience.
Well, what's left of the Grateful Dead has been playing there, and U2 has played there. That '80s band U2 from Ireland, and they're okay. You know, if you're a U2 fan, that's great. And then I have seen a lot of Grateful Dead fans because you know people go and you see them on your social media all day long. Oh, it's the Dead concert or this or that. But so you see them even if you don't go, you see a lot of the pictures and the visuals. It's a pretty interesting thing. And so Las Vegas is coming into its own, you know, and it's like old people are moving here at a higher rate than other areas. So it's kind of perfect for somebody like me, and it's just got to keep it going. Right. And I do have people that choose to move to Texas instead of Las Vegas. You know, they sometimes because it's easier to get a new home there's more opportunity because they just, plow under a new pasture, right? And that's a new neighborhood now out in Dallas, right? They just kind of keep going out. We have a land problem here, so it's limited, and they are going out a little bit, but it's nothing like Yeah. I'm getting ready to do a video that compares the Las Vegas 55 neighborhoods to the Villages in Florida, one neighborhood.
Oh, nice.
Compared to Las Vegas. And the Villages has twice as many. This one neighborhood has twice as many 55 plus homes than the entire city of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's huge. So I'm doing a video on that, going for the name recognition of the Villages. That's what we're shooting for on this one, right? We're trying to piggyback on that. So.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Micah. I really appreciate your time today. Any final words of advice for aspiring YouTubers out there?
Yeah, keep going. Don't quit. You get to do this, right? It's not like you have to do this. You get to be able to do this. You get to be able to connect with people out in front of Zillow, right? I mean, that's what's happening. People are connecting with you when they're just trying to find an area. So this is the opportunity to get out in front of somebody before they even get all hooked into Zillow. And 80% of all people, the stat, realtors know the stat, choose the first realtor they go with. And on video, you get a chance, on YouTube, you get a chance to go out in front of that and be part of that. And it's just numbers, right? And people like you, fall in love with you, and use you for their realtor. I would just say, keep doing that. Keep going. Follow your advice, Levi. Keep going.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Micah. Have a good one.
I pray feel better, man. I hope you feel better.
Thank you.